Hey, Pumpkin. You just get done with day 2 of your business trip. You must be tired. It was super hot there today, right?
Oh, so hot you wouldn't believe. They told me mountain basins were hot, but I had no idea it'd be this bad. It rained this morning, so the humidity was crazy high. It was like being in a sauna.
That sounds rough. You're done with work for the day now, though, right?
Yeah, I jumped in the shower the second I got back to my hotel room.
What are you having for supper?
I just grabbed something at the store nearby. I'm too drained for anything fancy tonight.
You have to eat properly, dear, but I guess eating out would be tiring for you, huh?
It's too hot, babe. I'll tell you. It might be late, but it still feels like an oven outside. If not for the aircon in my hotel room, I'd be a goner. I've only been here 2 days and I already want to come home. How are things on your end, babe? How's little Ronnie doing?
He's doing great, thanks, honey. He's doing so well, he'll probably drive you crazy with the noise if you were here.
Boys will be boys.
He tells me things are going amazingly well with his new class. He made a bunch of friends already.
He likes his new teacher too, right? What was his name again? Mr. Duncanson?
Yeah, that's him. All the kids love him. He's only a young guy in his 20s, but he's really good with the kids. And most importantly, he knows how to keep the little rascals in line. It's not just the kids that like him either. Apparently, he's a hit with the parents, too. I hope Ronnie's in his class next year, too.
I'm glad to hear things are going well for him. It's important he has a good time at school.
He said he feels a little lonely without you here, though. He keeps asking me when you're coming home.
Really? I think how big he's gotten lately made me think he's older than he actually is. I have to remind myself he's still a kid.
He's still a little cutie. No matter how big he gets, he'll always be our baby.
I'll tell him his daddy's going to come back as soon as he possibly can, okay? Also, tell him I'm pleased he's enjoying school, but to remember to behave himself.
Sure thing. I'll pass it on, honey. Look after yourself, Neil. Make sure to drink enough water.
Sure thing, babe. I will. You too. Thanks for keeping everything at the house under control until I get back. I'm counting on you, babe.
Sorry I couldn't speak on the phone, Neil. There's an emergency here.
Why didn't you pick up? I've got an emergency here myself.
No, my emergency is bigger. Apparently our son had an accident at school. Me and Ronnie's teacher are in an ambulance on our way to the hospital right now. You need to come back home ASAP.
Huh?
Not huh? Hurry up.
But so am I.
What do you mean?
I'm in an ambulance with Ronnie's teacher too.
Huh? But aren't you away on business?
I cancelled my business trip and rushed home as fast as I could when I heard.
How can you possibly be on your way before me?
Ronnie's teacher called and told me he hurt himself. You know Mr. Duncanson? He's sat next to me in the ambulance right now.
But why would he call you before me? His first emergency contact should be the house phone, second my mobile.
Yeah, but he couldn't get through to you either. Thankfully, he's a quick thinker and he called me up on my mobile using Ronnie's phone. That's how he got in touch with me.
Ronnie's phone?
Mr. Duncanson said he panicked when he couldn't get through to you. Normally they wouldn't use a student's phone, but this was an emergency.
But what about your business trip? Is everything going to be okay with work?
I made my apologies and told them it couldn't be helped. They were pretty understanding given the circumstances, so luckily nothing bad will come of my early departure. An emergency is always an emergency. Anyway, where are you headed?
Ronnie's on his way to the hospital, right?
Why'd you keep asking me questions? What's going on?
Forget that, just answer me. Why are you here on your way to the hospital when you were supposed to be away on business? I don't see how you could make it to the hospital on time.
Huh? You don't understand what's going on here at all, do you? Ronnie arrived at the hospital ages ago. And I just arrived at the hospital after dropping out of my business trip early.
So why are you in an ambulance?
We're on the way to the big hospital in the next town where they have the facilities to give Ronnie the care he needs.
So that's why you're in an ambulance?
Oh, by the way, why are you lying about being in an ambulance? Or better yet, where the hell are you right now?
Is Ronnie okay?
He's still unconscious.
I don't mean that. Tell me about his condition. How badly is he hurt?
Do I look like a goddamn doctor to you? I don't know. If you want to know so badly, then how about you get down here yourself? Your son just had a serious accident. Where the hell are you? And what the hell are you playing at?
I just went out for a little while. Ronnie planned on going straight to his friend's house after school, so I didn't have to be home to cook his dinner or anything. I thought it'd be fine to go out until 6 p.m. or so.
In that case, why don't you just tell me? Why would you go out of your way to lie about being in an ambulance? Was there some reason you didn't want me to know you were out?
Our son just had a serious accident. Any good mother would be able to rush out ASAP, but I couldn't because I was out. I'm a failure as a parent. I didn't notice the calls from his teacher either, so I just pretended I was already on my way so you wouldn't think badly of me.
Mr. Duncanson was spam calling you. How could you not notice for several hours? Were you preoccupied with something?
I'm sorry, I just noticed all the missed calls and messages.
Mr. Duncanson's been great. He stayed with him the whole time after he hurt himself. Now he's on the way to the big hospital with us. He's really reassuring to have around. To be honest, he's a hell of a lot more reliable than his mother.
Please, Neil, don't be mad with me. Do you see now? This is exactly why I had to lie, because I knew you'd react like this.
Look at you, already trying to justify lying to your own husband. I can't believe you'd make up a big, steaming pile of bullshit story to justify arriving late to the hospital. Are you hiding something from me?
I'm not hiding anything.
Then why are you so vague and evasive every time I ask you where you are? No matter which way you look at it, you're acting suspiciously.
Forget that. You should be worried about Ronnie right now. This isn't the time to be obsessing over something so trivial.
Trivial? Pulling a vanishing act when your son has a serious accident and then lying to try and cover it up is trivial. I said I was counting on you to keep things under control while I was away, didn't I?
I'm so sorry.
I don't need an apology. I need an explanation.
I'll tell you everything later.
I don't know where you are, but you need to hurry up and get your ass to the hospital. How long is it going to take you to get to the hospital? Just how far away are you?
I'm not going.
Excuse me?
I don't want to go to the hospital.
Don't screw me around. You're doing this to run away from your responsibility of explaining to me what the hell you were doing when Ronnie hurt himself, aren't you?
What's the point? You'll never forgive me no matter what I say, so what's the damn point?
Just what exactly are you afraid of, Fiona? Do you have any idea how hard Ronnie's trying to keep it together right now? He needs you by his side now more than ever. How can you live with yourself? If missing his teacher's calls makes you a failure as a mother, then what the hell does this make you?
Whether I'm there or not won't change anything. He'll be fine as long as he has you and Mr. Duncanson by his side.
You're his goddamn mother. Besides, Mr. Duncanson just went back to school. Even the vice principal stopped by to check on him earlier. How is it that everyone seems to care about Ronnie except his own mother?
Because if I do, all you'll do is attack and blame me. I just know it.
You're not coming because you're scared I'll demand an explanation, you mean? Fine. Forget it. Don't bother coming today. In fact, don't bother coming to visit him at any point ever.
Neil, please. It's not that I'm not worried about Ronnie. Please, you have to believe me.
You're more concerned with avoiding responsibility than checking on him. So how worried can you be? You really are a failure as a mother. I'm so disappointed in you. How can you live with yourself? You know what? Forget it. If you're capable of this, nothing I say will make a difference.
Don't say things like that. Oh my God! If you're gonna say such awful, mean-spirited things, maybe I would just rather be shouted at.
I don't have another second to waste on you. I'll be calling my parents and having them come down. As for you, you can go wherever the heck you please, because you're no longer welcome at this hospital.
I'm having an affair.
Excuse me?
I have a lover. We were at a hot spring resort together today. The reason I didn't notice Mr. Duncanson's calls is because we were soaking in the hot tub together and my phone was in my bag in the other room.
You were soaking in the hot tub with your lover when your son had a serious accident? I can't believe this.
Do you see why I couldn't tell you now?
To think you didn't notice me or Mr. Duncanson trying to call you. Just how long were you soaking in the hot tub with Loverboy?
Maybe 2 or 3 hours. We rented out a private room with an open-air hot tub.
Just the two of you, huh? That sounds real nice. Well, let's be real here. You weren't just soaking in the hot tub for those 2 or 3 hours, were you? You were getting piped by Loverboy. You must have been having a real good time to forget your phone for all that time.
I noticed all the missed calls from Mr. Duncanson as soon as we got out of the tub. I found out about Ronnie's accident when I listened to the voicemails. Given how much time had passed, I figured you'd probably have heard about what happened somehow or other, and when I realized you'd be suspicious about why I wasn't at the hospital already, I didn't know what else to do, so I lied.
What you really meant is that you'd rather lose everything than risk me finding out about your sordid little affair with Loverboy. I hope you have a nice life together.
No, you're wrong. That's not true. I swear it isn't. I lied because I didn't want to destroy our happy life together. Me, you, and Ronnie, our family. I didn't want to break up our family, Neil. Please, you have to believe me.
Our happy family got destroyed the moment you decided to get piped by some other dude behind my back. We can never go back to how we were now. We're finished.
I never thought this would happen. Never in a million years would I have imagined Ronnie would have an accident while I was with him. Why did this have to happen to our Ronnie? If his teachers were watching him properly, this would have never happened. This is all Mr. Duncanson's fault.
The accident happened after school when he was on his way home. He was nowhere near the school premises. This has nothing to do with his teachers, and they bear zero responsibility. Which is why Mr. Duncanson's response was even more impressive. He rushed out as soon as he got a call from a woman whose kid goes to the school, and also happens to live down the street where the accident happened. I couldn't be more grateful for how he handled the whole situation.
But if Mr. Duncanson had been with Ronnie, this could all have been avoided.
Have you lost your mind? Why the hell would Ronnie's teacher walk him home? Stop trying to shift the blame, Fiona. As for where responsibility for the accident actually lies, I'll be discussing it later with the police and the school. Right now, I'd like to find a solution for the problem of my lying bitch wife. So tell me, how long have you been seeing Loverboy?
Something like 2 years, maybe?
How old is he?
22.
Wow, so he's a kid. So let me get this straight. You've been meeting up with your toy boy this whole time while I've been at work and Ronnie's been at school. You've been betraying me and our son for a whole 2 years.
I made a mistake.
You can say that again. And so did I for ever seeing anything in you. Sadly for you, my heart is not big enough to forgive you for this.
No, don't say that. Please, baby, find it in your heart to forgive me. I'll do anything. I'll get on my knees and beg if that's what you want. I'll do whatever you say from now on. Anything. Please forgive me. I'm begging you.
You'll do whatever I say. Oh, interesting. All right, let's see if you mean it. I want a divorce, so sign the papers. I want you out of the house as soon as Ronnie's out of hospital.
No, please, just give me one more chance. I've been a good wife to you, haven't I?
Sure. I mean, aside from lying to and betraying me and your son for 2 years straight. Guess you have. But wait, that's not all. You don't have a job, do you?
Huh? Why are you asking me that all of a sudden?
Oh, forgive me for picking up on this late. I've kind of had a lot to process, you know. But whose money have you been going on hot spring resort vacations with? Something tells me it's not your kid lovers.
Well,
No way. So not only have you been cheating on me, you've been spending my hard-earned money on trips with your lover. Where the hell did you even meet someone that young?
He's an escort. I found him online and I was lonely, so I thought, why not give it a try? And I guess we kind of just clicked.
You've been seeing an escort? And how did you pay for it? Wait, no, wait. Have you been eating into our savings?
I am so sorry.
That savings account was for Ronnie's college fund. Is that how you've been funding your double life? That money was for Ronnie's future.
But if I didn't keep spending money on him, I thought he might break up with me. He started saying his schedule was full and charging extra fees for house calls.
That ain't my goddamn problem. I can't believe you've been eating into Ronnie's future to fund a sordid affair with someone who doesn't even like you. You're not going to get away with this. I'm telling your mum and dad.
No, please, I'll tell them myself.
Do you really think I can trust you to do that after everything? No doubt you'll withhold the truth from them if I don't tell them myself. Don't bother. I'll do it.
I won't lie anymore, I swear. Just what exactly do you take me for?
A traitor? A liar? A disgraceful pile of stinking human garbage.
Ugh, don't call me those horrible things. So you want to break up with me, do ya, huh? Well, you know what? I'm not attracted to you either. You're a worn-out, flabby old man, and I'd take a hot, young, muscular stud over you any day of the week. I'm breaking up with you before you can break up with me.
The only one being broken up with here is you. Let me make one thing clear. You have a duty to pay Ronnie child support until he reaches adulthood. I'll be filing compensation for the emotional distress you put me through too.
Whatever, I'll make it work somehow.
Oh, really? You even believe that yourself? You haven't held down a job for more than 2 weeks in your entire life. Even if you did get a job, and even if by some miracle you actually worked hard at it, you'd still be spending most of your wages on child support and compensation. Your life of luxury is over. You're deluded if you think your new life's going to be anything like the one I gave you.
Whatever, I don't care. I'll make it work somehow. I just know it.
Where does your confidence come from?
My boyfriend's kind, you know. He treats me like a princess. He reminded me what it's like to have butterflies in my stomach. It's been a long time since I felt that with you. As long as I have him, we can support each other. I don't care whether you break up with me because I don't need you anymore.
What would you say the shelf life on a male escort is? What are you going to do for money once you can't get work anymore? Have you even discussed a future together with him? Are you sure he doesn't think your relationship is something completely different to the fairy tale you seem to have built up in your head?
Huh?
Or is it more likely the case that he's only with you for your, my money? Is he really going to be there to support you once the money dries up? Well, I guess you'll know soon enough.
What the hell do you know about him?
Nothing. But if he had any kind of genuine feelings for you, would he really be piling on extra charges for call-outs? My guess is no. If he really liked you, he'd want to be with you irrespective of whether there was money in it for him or not. He's not your boyfriend. You're just being artificially held together by my money.
So, what are you suggesting I do? If you're gonna abandon me, then who am I supposed to live with?
How about going back to your parents' place?
But if they find out about the affair, they'll disown me. You know how old-fashioned my dad is about stuff like this, right?
Alright, so live by yourself.
But, oh my god. Neil, even if we break up, you will let me see Ronnie, won't you?
Sure, if he wants to see you. But I'll be telling him exactly what you did once he's old enough to understand. So I wouldn't hold my breath. After that, I'll leave it to him to decide what he wants.
Oh my god, why would you? You're gonna try driving a wedge between me and my own son? You can't steal my boy from his mother. Ronnie is my treasure.
Oh, look who's talking. You're the one who betrayed him. Drop the doting mother act already. You couldn't even bring yourself to come to the hospital when he was seriously injured. You have no right to call yourself a mother.
Fine, you're right. I'll come to the hospital right now. I can come, can't I?
Nah, don't bother.
But me being there will help Ronnie feel better. There are things I can do for him.
You are more interested in your lover than your injured son. What could you possibly do for him? How can I entrust my injured son with someone I can't even rely on to watch their house? That night, Ronnie regained consciousness. Fiona finally came to visit him 3 days after he arrived at hospital. I just ignored her and focused on his recovery as she snuggled up to him in a phony act as the saintly mother. Finally, after Ronnie was discharged from the hospital and went back to school, me and my wife got a divorce. Personally, I would have liked to do it earlier. But I would have felt bad for Ronnie if he had to deal with his mum disappearing while he was still recovering. Apparently, after the divorce, Fiona brazenly attempted to invite herself to live on the lover's sofa. But just as I predicted, he flipped out at her and said no. He was just using her for money all along. To no one's surprise, he suddenly had no interest in my ex-wife when he found out she was up to her ears in compensation and child support payments. Ronnie made a full recovery, suffering no lasting effects from the accident, went back to school in good health and high spirits. Oh, want to hear some good news? Apparently, Mr. Duncanson's going to be his teacher next year too. Woohoo! Ronnie tells me he was always there for him to help him catch up on his studies when he went back to school. He really is a great guy. Also, being fully aware of the situation between me and Ronnie's wayward mother, he also provided him with emotional support. Not only that, but apparently he also asks after me. Is your dad alright? Is he sleeping properly? Can you believe it? What a guy. I burst into tears when I got a letter from him after the whole thing had blown over. In it, he wrote how he understood how hard the whole ordeal must have been on me, and that if I ever needed someone to talk to, he'd be there. I decided to take him up on his offer, which means me and Mr. Duncanson, or Steve as I call him now, going out for a beer next week.